Hi friends. So the journey to this video has been an interesting and long one. And long story short, I am actually in a season where I am trying to challenge my fear of being seen. And so it's interesting because I have sort of always kind of had this fear. And when I speak with my therapist about it, a lot of it being tied to feelings of low self worth, low self esteem, things of that nature. And those are definitely life challenges with which I've dealt. And yet, when it comes time to, I guess, feel like in a way I'm serving my community, that fear kind of disappears. And so it's interesting because um I have never really wanted to be someone who was like in front. I've always been a behind the scenes type of girl. I'm a playwriter, not or a playwright rather, not an actor. Like that's not really my scene. And it's so interesting that I've always kind of desired to be in the back seat, I guess. And yet I always end up in front of the screen anyway. So that's just kind of manifested in terms of um, me having a lot of passion for, I guess, speaking to serve and such. So this basically manifested for me as like running for student council when I was like in third grade. And I was involved in student government all the way through grade school, culminating in being the student member of the Board of Education, my senior year of college, student body, or rather student government president, things of that nature. I ended up becoming a teacher. Like I ended up, my favorite job to this day has actually been working at Lush Cosmetics, which is like, if you've ever been to Lush Cosmetics, that's the most in your face sort of job that you could do. And I loved every minute of it, despite the fact that I really do not like being in front of people. So it's just really interesting to think about that. And so I've definitely been resisting being seen as it comes to my business. And so I've had lots of ideas of the ways that I would um kind of, I guess, provide aromatherapy information, perfuming information in a way that sort of kept me behind the scenes. So I had a couple of series ideas I wanted to do, and they were all just like, hey, I'm going to do faceless things. Like, that is not for me. I don't want to do it. And so after I think lots of introspection, lots of reflection, sort of realized that this is a pattern for me. And it's something that going into the next season of my life, which I am so convinced is going to be a season of abundance, I am trying really hard to challenge this fear. And so I am showing up to be seen, to be critiqued. I come from academia, so that's something that, again, another, role that I sort of started not necessarily wanting to be in front of folks, but that just, was the nature of things, such as the other jobs that I've had. And I really want to challenge myself to be seen and to also resist that natural inclination toward um, low self-worth, low self-esteem, etc., because that's kind of like been the long-standing issue that I've had in life. And I just feel like I cannot enter my new season if I don't address it, because that's something that I've that's probably the longest battle I've ever had, was the battle with myself. And I imagine that that's the case for lots of other folks too. But I am coming here, starting a new series. I actually got the idea from one of my customers. I call my customers custies. I don't know why I call them that. But one of my customers was asking me about a specific note. Um, I'm working to recreate a fragrance for her, an Hervé Leger, the vintage EDP, and one of the notes is osmanthus. And she was kind of asking me some questions about it, about, how rare is it? Like, is it easy to, obtain? And it just gave me this idea of like, hey, like, maybe this is something other people want to know too. And also, it pushes me to create a series where I am going to be seen, where I can talk about, some of these lesser known and or lesser named notes in perfumery, as well as provide some of the aromatherapy benefits of these individual notes. And I mean notes in terms of essential oils, because my fragrance brand is completely essential oil based. The only fragrance ingredient I use in my oils is essential oils. And so it gives me an opportunity to sort of talk a little bit about, what really lights me up, which is, of course, the perfuming. I love perfuming. But I really, really love the healing and the therapy that comes with fragrance. So aromatherapy, and also something that I also absolutely love are identifying notes in wine and cocktails. I love wine. I love cocktails. I promise I'm not a drunk, but I love a good cocktail. And that's kind of what started my sip and scent event. It's just, hey, like, let's have a multisensory experience. Let's try some wines. Let's try some cocktails. Let's pair them with some scents, so that we can sort of have this complementary experience of smelling, and smell and taste are so connected. And I think just driving home the message that everything really is connected. And so just seeing how, especially with, wines, and like cocktail liqueurs and things like that, just seeing how many uses that plants give us, to enjoy, to heal, to just experience. And that's something that is really important to me, and something that I really want to bring to my channel, despite me having to be seen to do it. Or not having to, but choosing to. Let me change the language. I'm choosing to be seen. I'm choosing to open myself up to criticism. But I'm choosing that because, one, I want to heal myself, but also I want to provide the information to my community who often don't get access to, alternate means of therapy, of healing. And so I am very nervous. This video is way longer than it needs to be, but I'm super nervous. But I am officially announcing that I will be starting a new series, and that is Sip and Scent, a journey through lesser known and lesser named perfume notes. So I'm excited. I'm very nervous, but I feel like this is the final key. And I hope that it's received well. If you have questions, I already have kind of a list of notes that I think would be really interesting to discuss with folks. But if you have, certain notes that you want to know more about, I'm happy to do those as well, even if they're not necessarily lesser known or named. So anyway, I'm going to record my first video, which I'm really scared about, but I'm gonna do it anyway because that's what this is about. And I'll see you there.